to another Black Wax session. I'm Terril Brown, your host. I'm here with my guy Ben Da Prodagy. He's a musical engineer. I brought Ben on the show today because he has a unique story that I don't think gets captured enough. We always wait till people are millionaires and big and in everybody's face to talk about success. And that's not what success looks like for your everyday person. I think paying attention to your local successes and things like that really matter when people are hoping to have dreams to go and pursue their careers and stuff like that. So Ben has been a friend of mine through another friend I met for a little bit, and I had some moments to have conversations with him, hopefully inspire him. I'm pretty sure
100%.
that I've inspired him in some ways, and I like to share some of the stuff that you've been through. So
Sure.
I want to start off just kind of, you want to introduce yourself and your title?
Sure. I'm Big Ben Da Prodagy, or most people just call me Big Ben. I'm an audio engineer. I graduated from Full Sail University in 2019. Nowadays I'm working with Wavy Wayne, if you know Wavy Wayne. He's a big audio engineer influencer. He's worked with some incredible names as like Ashanti, Future, Jim Jones, to name a few. And we work for a company named Wavy Pro Audio, which is specializes in audio distribution of gear and software. We also host an event down in Atlanta every year called Mixnick, which is growing rapidly, where we have some of the biggest or the biggest names in audio engineering come down and tell their stories, and also give back to the community through education. So really just the education and give back. Yeah.
All right. So first of all, you're from Omaha, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your childhood. Like, where do you come from?
Born and raised in North Omaha, born down on 52nd, Northwest 52nd, or North 52nd, right by Benson High School.
You're a bunny guy.
Yeah,
I was a bunny.
Yeah, I was a bunny.
All right.
I was a bunny. I went to Monroe.
Went to Monroe too,
and then
man.
transferred on over to Benson.
That's crazy how we ain't never met each other. How old are you?
I am, same age, 37.
Okay,
now.
we close to the age too. That's crazy we never ran into each other because I was a bunny. I went to Monroe.
We probably did.
Yeah.
And that's the funny thing, because a lot of us, we see each other or been around each other in some shape, form, or fashion.
Yeah.
Whether it's been through parties, the barbershop, shows. Like, there's just so many different things that we were around back then. But we all were in our own zones.
Yeah.
So
what kind of things were you into as
man.
in your high school days? When you was a kid, what kind of things did you do?
I didn't do audio engineering back then. I was still trying to figure out what I was trying to do. I did a lot of sports. I was into football, really big, baseball, really big. It was really, I thought, sports were going to be my outlet to getting somewhere and being out of the city, and I have to pay for college and things like that. And once I graduated high school, I watched kind of the people ahead of me, go into that debt, and it scared me off of going to college. And I had some scholarships to play for South Dakota State and Doane, but they were partial, and I just knew that it wasn't something for me at that time, especially because I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I would have went to college not knowing what I want to do, and I didn't want to waste time. So
Okay.
I
understand that.
I ended up, because of that though, on the back end, I started doing music in my junior year with a group called The Fam.
Okay. You started off, before we get into the music, 'cause
Yep.
we're going to get into the music.
For sure.
How was your home life? Did you come from two-parent background?
Oh, man.
I'm always interested in sharing our struggles a little bit so that we can see that we come from out of that.
Man, yeah. That's a crazy question. I actually wrote a song about it when I was young. I didn't come from a broken home. My parents were together. But I made a song called Family Matters because during my childhood, it was a constant battle between my parents. I grew up in a sometimes they say and I hate to say this because my parents had an amazing marriage right now, or since, but during that time when everything was hard and they're trying to figure out how they're gonna pay for things and everything, it was a constant battle. So we were coming home to, constant arguments,
Yeah.
which got put into me, and like to this day that stuff triggers me. Like when
Yeah.
people start arguing, like it either makes me upset or I'm like ready to fight.
Yeah.
Like because like it's just something we grew up in, and yeah, it wasn't bad. There's some gambling problems within my family that led to some issues.
But you had a typical inner city life.
Absolutely.
You know, wasn't rich.
Absolutely. No,
wasn't
I'm
broke
middle
down
class,
poor.
man. Like
Yeah.
I don't even know if middle class. Like we were somewhere like right above. And you think about it like this too. Back then, I think that times you could afford things a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know, you could buy a house was like $30,000 or $50,000 or whatever, and if you had two people working, you
Yeah,
could
that's
afford
not
that.
as big of a challenge.
Yeah.
So, but that I think it's important to know where we coming from because everybody got their starting point, and a lot of people have some kind of trauma from their childhood because parents aren't perfect. Nobody's a perfect parent. So,
Absolutely not.
in your mindset, now we're going into music. Just kind of wanted to know a little bit about the background and how you were making music because usually when people go into music, they want to tell their story. They want to say something, right? Real artists, they want to say something. They don't want to just rap to just rap. Well, some do, but you know what I mean.
No, yeah.
Some people have a story to tell. They find their passion. They found their outlet and all that. So now we can get into the music and how you discover. How'd you meet your group?
Yeah.
How did that come about?
It's a good back. I'll start like with the actually the family part because if it wasn't for my dad was a record collector.
Okay.
And what brought us together as a family was always music. So like when there would be Friday, Saturday nights, we'd all huddle down in the basement, and my dad, like he had, the record players, he had all this nostalgic stuff down there. To this day, he has all these like antique things like that bring you back to old times because that was his thing. And so, thousands and thousands of records. I'm talking everything, Buddy Holly, Jimi Hendrix. There's Tupac down there, bluegrass, polka. You name it. There was every kind of genre down there, and we listened to all of it because my dad didn't have a genre specific. He was listening to it because he's a collector, and he wanted to hear everything.
Yeah.
So that brought me into music and like my passion and my background. And then one day I was like, I remember I was sitting there upstairs with my friend Josh, Big Josh, we call him, and we're listening to Ludacris, and I always used to try to rap, and it was I wanna. So I'm sitting there trying to do my first ever recording was actually on remember the Macaulay Culkin Walkman?
Oh yeah.
That was my first recording.
You're taking me back, man.
Right, on tape. And we just found a beat and we played it, and that was my first recordings. And then several years later, I was like, I really want to do this because I did have a story to tell.
Yeah.
Just different, like about life. I don't know. Music was ingrained in me because the people I listened to growing up, they were storytellers. They could talk about life. And Tupac was one of the best storytellers of all time.
Yeah.
So I got into that. I went in my junior year. I met a group. It was called the Fam. It was down north.
They were already established.
Yes. So they actually, I got introduced to them. They put out like a diss record at school, and I was like, yo, this is amazing. A diss record against other people at school.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
That's
interesting.
Yeah.
That's crazy, right?
So I'm like, oh man, these dudes are awesome. They don't have no fear. And that's kind of like being from sports, it's competitive.
Yeah.
And that's what rap is. And I started off as a battle rapper.
Okay.
That's really how I got in because I was like, all right, I want to compete, besides the storytelling. So we got into that I got into that group with them. I remember I asked, I was like, can I come over and do some bars, and that was the first time I freestyled. That was my first ever freestyle was in there.
How'd that go?
I remember it to this day. Something about I burned more tracks than the Mohawk P. Diddy, and that's when P. Diddy had the Mohawk.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know where that came from. And I just remember everybody bust down laughing, and that was like a breakthrough for me because I needed to know that I could do it first of all, but I also needed to break down that barrier of like, yo man, like you're not gonna be perfect, and this is what this is,
Being a white guy, approaching rap too, you had another stigma.
Yeah.
I'm sure you did.
My whole career, dude. I'm either Bubba Sparks, Paul Wall, or Eminem.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, no, I'm Big Ben Da Prodagy,
Yeah.
man.
And you are you.
Yeah.
When I listen to your music, it's the same as when I'm talking to you. Like, you are yourself. Like, but I'm sure that was a challenge.
Always.
Getting into the rap game, going up against other people, definitely if you battle rapping.
Yeah.
You know.
Which was also fun because when because I knew how, it's like when you know your team is good,
Yeah.
and their team's trying to hype themselves up and make themselves look big, and you walk in and you tear them down, they're like, shit, he's good. And that's how it'd be a lot of times.
So you were still in school when this was going on, right?
Yeah, I was still in school, and then I decided to drop my first album, and this is when our group, my real group, I should say real group, but like the fan was like the starting point, and then we kind of dismembered after the junior year because everyone got suspended or things like happened, you know. My senior year, I dropped my album. It was called The Sixth Man, and it had our starting group was called the Cutthroat Boys, and it was Columba Chanu and Lil E, the Real Spitter. Lil E was from East St. Louis, but he had lived up here for a while. But Columba, Slim, he had come from the 7th Ward of New Orleans because of Katrina. Because Katrina had just happened during this time. So he came up during Katrina, and we started the group. And then I would say like 6 months later, a couple more people they were from Central. I guess this is towards the end of my senior year. So then I'm out of school now, and then I get some new introductions to the group, which this is when we expanded. I'm just trying to give a faster timeline.
You good.
But it was New Orleans. It was Cutthroat Boys to the New Orleans Flood Boys, and the New Orleans Flood Boys was made up of K9, Obi, Rella, Gunner, AK Gunner, Scoob, and I think somebody else. I can't remember right now off the top of my head, but those 5 for sure. And at that time, like shortly around this time, I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. Like we worked together basically from 2007 to 2009, and then 2009, Columba went back. He went back to New Orleans. He got killed down there.
Oh man.
So then we kind of reformatted. Me, Lil E, and Gunner became a group, and we became CTB to NOFB. So we just.
What is that?
It's exactly what I said before. It's just one.
Oh, okay.
So it's the Cutthroat Boys to the New Orleans Flood Boys.
Okay,
but
I got you.
We were like, we're just gonna make it this, and then we went like that for, man, as long as I can remember.
And so were you guys making albums, recording?
Yes. Well, we
doing
made
shows, all that.
We made we were like one of the I'm gonna say first groups, but we were one of the groups out here that was putting out mixtapes every 6 months. And I remember giving somebody, and we put the volumes on. I remember giving another artist out here our mixtape, and they said like volume 5. He's like, volume 5? How are you guys already on volume 5? And I was like, we're like, dude, we work, you know. And we took all that on ourselves financially. We were buying all of our products. We're going down to Kinko's, printing off the stuff, you know, cutting it all up, spending hours duplicating CDs when you could burn CDs.
So you telling me this is already kind of like I'm recognizing a separation between the norm that I see with people doing music in Omaha, definitely young man. You guys really worked. You did the business.
We wanted it to make it so bad.
Yeah.
And we knew that it was going to take money, and we knew that we could make money with our music. And we got out there on the street and hustled it. We pushed our stuff to anybody who would give us time of day, and that's hard because, you know, face to face, people are going to shut you down.
Yeah. So during this journey with this group and going forward as an artist, not an engineer, but as an artist, how long were you an artist until you transferred over and wanted to?
Funny story. So if you ever heard of Mixed by Lee, how he became Kendrick Lamar's engineer is the same way I became our group's engineer. I became our group's engineer the moment we started recording at my house, at our house, because I couldn't stand the way our music sounded. So I started messing and tinkering with stuff, and I didn't know what I was doing, but I kept just getting better. And lo and behold, I didn't find this out until I went to Full Sail, you know, like 10 plus years later.
Full Sail.
Yeah, Full Sail
Explain
University.
to our audience.
Full Sail University is like it's probably like the most prestigious audio, or I shouldn't say audio, but entertainment like college that's out there in my mind. I mean, there's Berkeley. There's a couple of other ones. I think LA School of Recording, but Full Sail is like prestigious, and they have a lot of big names that come out of there. I mean, I could probably rattle off
Give us the top two to come in here.
Leslie Brathwaite, and when we think about Leslie Brathwaite, you could think Michael Jackson, TLC, Migos, Beyonce, anybody who's done music that you listen to on the radio, he's done. And then Baines is another big one. He does all the Young Thug stuff. He's doing Big X the Plug stuff. He's intelligent, very smart. Man, like Rick Carson from Omaha, Nebraska, he lives out here. He's a huge studio. He owns a big studio out here. Plug-in manufacturer, like Metric, Halo, and we just had him on our show the other day.
Okay.
But yeah, man, there's a lot. Like I could rattle up people for days.
So you said, hey, our music sound like crap.
Yep.
I'm just gonna figure it out somehow, some way.
Yeah.
And you start tinkering around.
Yeah.
And then outside of doing music, when you guys formed this last group, around what age were you?
So I was 17 when we
Oh,
started.
you're still a kid. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm thinking you.
No,
Okay,
I was 17 when we started the group. When we became the last group, I would say I was probably 19.
Okay.
Yeah.
So about 19 years old, you're transitioning from being a child in your parents' house to being an adult in your own house, right?
Sort of.
Okay.
We were still trying to figure out. We had we were at my mom's house at the time, because I could tell you that with confidence, because I remember we were recording in the bathroom.
Oh.
And
Man, y'all got it from the mud, right?
but we were working our way into not only entrepreneurship, but like being an adult, like on our own, and doing those things. And yeah, at that time, 19, we were all working full-time jobs, and at that time we were actually all working together at this place called RGIS.
Okay. So that's what I was trying to get to, is like, okay, you went from school, now you're working, you're getting into your adult life. And at some point of tinkering with the music, rapping, your group, work, you decided to go to school.
Yeah.
How'd that happen?
So I met my wife, who has 2 degrees and almost working on her 3rd. And at that time, I was not interested in going to school, but I also I got to a point. I had a program, the same program I had for 10 years. It was a free program. It's called Adobe Edition 1.5, I think. I don't even know if it exists anymore as an audio engineer, like as a DAW. But if it does, I would never mess with it again. Yeah. But long story short, I had that for 10 years. I got to a point where I maxed out my capacity of learning and what I could do with it. Yeah. So I was like, I got to move on. I got to learn something. And I had been with Pilar at the time for.
Pilar's his wife.
Pilar's my wife. Yes. For about 2 or 3 years, and she was like, you should go to school. And this is. So 13, 14, 15, 16, so 2016, I decided, I don't even know how it happened. I just called Full Sail out the blue. Yeah. And I was like, I'm not really going to do this. I'm just going to see what they're talking about. They didn't answer. I was like, oh, that's my sign. They called me back the next day, and next thing I know, I'm going to get my transcripts from Benson, and I'm enrolling in school. Yeah.
So I'm gonna take a moment to pause to give a shout out to your wife for encouraging you to go to school, because sometimes that little bit of support it means everything.
100%.
So shout out to Pilar for even encouraging that.
Yes.
Now going forward, you go to school. I'm sure you learned a ton of stuff at school. Met a lot of people.
Yep.
If you want to touch on some of the experiences you had at school, we can. But I want to talk about your life past school.
Yep.
To kind of start getting to a point of understanding the things that are making you successful. So if you do want to touch on a couple things from school, we can do that real quick.
The main thing I say that I got from school is discipline, because I went to an online school. I was working a full-time job. Shout out to Pilar again, because Pilar helped me get through a lot of that. I mean, that's 2.5 years of me working a full-time job while going to school, and then she got pregnant during the end of it. So
Yeah.
we ended up having a pregnancy through me graduating. I actually graduated in 2019 in February, and then had my son in March of 2019.
Okay.
So back to back. And anyway, but yeah, the main thing I say was just discipline, because on online schooling you got to do it right. So there's no one
Yeah.
pushing you.
Yeah.
Like there's no teacher saying come to class or do your assignment. It's either do it or fail. And I actually, when I was down there, that's one other thing I'll say is I did so well in school, because that was my goal, was to have. I was a C student, like in high school. I didn't get nothing besides C's and B's. And full sail, I pushed myself to get all A's, and I ended up being the valedictorian of my class. Didn't even know it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Pilar called me, and I'm like, what's up? She's like, did you know you have like 4 director's awards, and you got the valedictorian? I was like, what's the valedictorian? I didn't even know what it was.
Yeah.
That's how like I was just locked into wanting to be good at what I was doing. So
you got small things in your history that's building you up for greatness. You have your work ethic,
sure.
like your grind, your passion. I'm starting to see this pattern, and me and you've been cool for a good amount of time. I'm starting to see what the things in your background that made you go and go. So I'm very glad that we're doing this interview,
Right.
and I'm getting to know you differently before I met you, you know?
Yeah.
And the things that make you do, because we have great conversations
Always.
all the time, you know? So I just think that's amazing, and now I'm like,
Yeah,
now I
yeah.
see why Ben is like that.
Yeah.
Now I get it. But yeah, so you're just
So,
killing school. You're doing your thing.
Got done with school, and that was 2019. In 2020, COVID hit. Obviously, that was a down year for everybody. But that was also the year when I started researching online, and I found a guy named Wavy Wing. And I ended up joining the Wavy Seals Elite in 2021, and we ended up connecting. And by 2022, I knew I couldn't work at the job I was at anymore. I was literally physically breaking down.
So let's talk about that, because this is the moments
Yeah.
where you realize, and we had conversations
Yeah.
about this. We
you're
all
part
had
of
these
this
moments.
journey. Yeah.
So let's talk about that, because I think a lot of us come to that point where we have passions and we really we got something good. We didn't worked on our craft. We didn't sold out to it, but then I got to pay bills. I got to work 9 to 5. I got to get that check.
Yeah.
And that's still so many of our dreams.
It's a dream killer though, in the aspect, because we go to our jobs and we're not putting no time in for ourselves.
I think I told you.
I'm pretty sure you did.
I think
That's his
you
line.
stole that out of my mouth. But that is the thing. Sometimes we don't give ourselves the environment to be great.
Exactly.
Even though the things that we're doing is great. I see it with people that play sports. I see it with so many people on a regular. I'm a barber, so I talk to people all the time, and I always question, why aren't you doing the thing that you're great at? And I know the
Yeah.
answer. I gotta work. I gotta pay bills.
Yeah.
So I know we had a conversation. I'm sure you had conversations with your wife and other people, but how do you make that transition from
Man,
I am working a 9 to 5 and I don't have time for this passion to I'm gonna let my passion support me?
I could tell you like real quick too. It was 2022. I had started working with a really, really awesome, amazing artist named Terril, and that helped me get back on my faith, which I've always been strong on faith, but that helped me to start really
Now,
manifesting.
Tylynn is
a CHH artist from Omaha, Nebraska, the best, by the way.
she's a Christian rapper. She's very, very genuine. Because I have a relationship with Ben, I've been able to experience some of her music. We should put a little clip of her music on the end of our show she's amazing.
Man,
She's
one of a
amazing.
kind.
She's the type that'll give you goosebumps. Yeah. And you don't get that a lot with gospel or Christian rap. You don't really get the real authentic, this is her doing, representing what she believes in, and still that connection and that feeling and that passion and that love for music. at the same time. So,
Yeah, I could
you know,
talk.
I know,
Bro,
I know.
I have so
Like,
much great things to say about Thailand. Like I could go on forever. But she went through a lot, and she puts that into her music.
Yeah.
And you can hear it soon. Anybody that's been through anything or just knows, you know, like you listen to it, you be like, man. Like her music would get me through things while I'm
Yeah.
engineering it, which was crazy because like I used to call her and be like, yo, man, your music is getting me through this, but I used to just manifest and pray a lot, man. And I realized I needed to do some things. I was like, I need to build like a savings. I was like, I need to find a way to get an income that's in what I'm doing more so. And then I met you, that because I was getting married that year
yeah,
in Puerto Vallarta, and you told me your story about how you left where you're at and you started the barbershop during COVID, I think, right?
yep.
And I was like, that was like the jump start of everything for me because
Yeah.
I did 2022 to 2023. I did another year where I just saved and built and prayed, and I started building my clientele list up. I started, you know, I reached out to Wavy, and he took me on board as an assistant, which was huge for me because I had never been in any position like that, you know. So I'm learning from somebody who's been doing this for a long time now. And he took me under his wing. He said, "Hey man, like you're part of our team. I'm gonna help you. Like we're gonna."
And Wavy is like top of the top. He's one of the best engineers.
Engineers, audio influencers. Like he's like and he's not just doing it for himself. He started off as a teacher for a school down in St. Louis. And I love his story when he tells it. But it was for a school that Nelly had opened. It had shut down, I think, around the time of COVID.
Yeah.
Well, he had already been putting his stuff online because students wouldn't come to class. So he transitioned what he was already doing into a career because there was no audio influencers, especially like ones of color.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so like when he was able to do that, he broke down doors, man. Like nobody was doing that, and now there's a lot more, but like everyone knows that he was the one who started that.
Okay.
And
you got a chance to be his assistant, learn under him.
still to this day, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what was it like quitting? Well, tell me that story. Tell me that day.
I was frightening.
the day that you did that. How did that play out?
It was frightening because now I'm starting to make consistent like money, and I'm good. Like I'm making money at my job because now I'm putting money. I'm doing my job, and I'm leaving the job. I'm putting exact same many hours into my craft, and I'm starting to make income. And I'm like, damn, when I break away from this job, now I'm about to lose one. So how am I gonna make up for that? And the real thing was like I had to believe in my craft and my prices, and know that even if I had to raise them, that it would still like customers not customers but clients would still come. And then I realized, man, like because the work that I do, the quality I do, more people came to me because of word of mouth.
Yeah.
Which was, I always give God that credit, man, because I couldn't have planned that, man. Like that's, and then getting to work with Wavy, we're doing all these other things. Like I remember we're sitting in New York, and I'm on top of Jungle City Studio, Alicia Keys' studio.
Yeah.
I'm on top of it. I'm looking out over the whole city. And I'm like, bro, I'm not supposed to be here. He's like, what you mean you ain't supposed to be here? I was like, this stuff don't happen to people like us.
Yeah.
And he was like, get used to it. And then the next night, I'm in a room with all these CEOs of all these big DAWs. I'm in a room with like the names, man. Like, do you know, like in Hamilton? I think it's not. No, is it Hamilton? The room where it happens. Like, I'm in those rooms, and I'm like, yo, this is crazy. And then I realized, like, now I'm doing that in LA. Now I'm doing that in Atlanta. Now I'm doing that in New York. And this is like, I'm like, yo, this is crazy, bro. Like, this is what I used to dream about.
Yeah.
I used to look up in the sky and look at planes go by, and I was like, I remember saying, I was like, I'm gonna be on them one day. I'm gonna be doing the things. And then like 2 years later,
you're doing them.
I was doing them.
But and we talk about this. I always feel like you my brother, man. Like because the conversations we have, it's sometimes things in your heart and in your head, it, but you need to hear somebody else say it. And I think that's our relationship.
For sure.
Is that everything that I tell you, but you need to hear somebody else say it.
100%.
You know what's going on. And it is God. But how God works. That's what, it's not just God, it's how God works.
It's definitely, and it's not on our time.
That leap of faith and put your energy behind your passion, what you get, you started radiating that energy,
100%.
and you started attracting that world to you. And sometimes, you want to get wet, you got to jump in the pool.
Yeah.
You know?
No, for sure.
But the biggest thing that I want our audience to get, I want these young men and these older men and women to understand is that you make a decision. Life, you only get one chance to live.
I'm glad you said this.
Let me get this off you real
yep.
quick. I guess it's in my heart to share. You got one life to live. If you make the decision to work for somebody else's dreams other than your own, you can't get mad that you couldn't get there.
Bro,
you don't give yourself a chance to get there. That's the connection. That's what you did for yourself. It was I can't believe I was here. You can't believe you was here because you spent 10 years working for somebody else's dream. If you put all that attention into what you was doing, now you can see it.
Dude, it's so real. What you just said, and it's crazy you said that because I'm on the way back from right after I left the shop today.
Yeah.
And I see an older guy and he's leaning against a pole, and my mind works like when I see something, it goes and I make a million connections, and then it all comes back to me.
Yeah.
And when I saw it, and I was like, that dude looked like and maybe he lived his life, I don't know, but he looked like he didn't have the best life, and it looked like he was just working for somebody else's whole life. And it hit me. I was like, what you just said, I was like, you can literally go chase your dream, or you're gonna work for somebody else and build their dream. And you're never gonna have the satisfaction of saying, at least I tried. And then one day you're gonna be old and be like, man, and it's gonna be too late.
You don't get to do it again.
You're gonna get 60, 70, and you're gonna be too old to do the things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I would say, do it I used to do while you're young. Do it when you're ready, but don't wait so long to where it's out of your orbit, man.
The thing was you were doing the things in your career. The problem is that your environment, it's kind of like, in a sense, slavery and freedom. When you have to stop doing what you're doing and go do something that ain't got nothing to do with you, to me, that's a form of slavery. When you release them bonds and say, hey, thank you for giving me a paycheck, I appreciate it, but I need to put this time into me.
Exactly.
When you release them bonds, them chains, you open up so many doors, and that's what we don't realize. We don't realize that we live in America. There is so much opportunity around us. It don't matter if you're black, white, it don't matter your background. If you can dive in to your world, there's so many opportunities. It's just so many people don't take the chance because we're conditioned. We're conditioned to go work for somebody else's dream.
That's the other thing. Think about that. That was the other thing that crossed my mind when I saw that. We're kind of conditioned, at least our generation, because we didn't have we kind of grew up into the internet, like the TikTok and all that stuff, right? But when we grew up, it was go chase your dreams, and then when you got to a certain age, it was go get a job because you have to take care of your family for the rest of your life. That was the reality. That's what a lot of us are stuck in to this day because that's what we were conditioned in.
It's both true, but I just don't think that people.
No, I mean our age, but it took me to get around someone like you and Wavy and Pilar and that said, hey, go chase your dream, I was doing it, but there's the thing, man, you got to believe in yourself too.
How does that feel? How does it feel to be living your passion versus when you were working?
Thrilling and also scary as hell sometimes, because at the end of the day, I always tell people, and you know this.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get those off days. You don't get them holiday day pays. You don't get those. You working, but you're working doing something you love. That's the difference. And at the end of the day, I get satisfaction when I send you. How many times do I come into the barbershop?
All the time.
I'm like, dude, have you heard this song?
All the time.
And I'll send it to you, and that makes me so happy.
Yeah.
The process sometimes is damn man, I'm doing this, and how do I fit? Because at the end of the day, I'm a doctor of music. You know what I mean? I'm fixing stuff all day. And I'm trying to figure out what's wrong and how do I make it better. And when I get to the conclusion, I'm like, yo, that sounds amazing. And then we get to put that collectively, me and the artist and the producer. Shout out to LP, by the way. I forgot to shout out LP. We get to put that out to the world. collectively, and then watch their embrace on it. So that's, and then dude, I didn't get to mention this, but because of taking that risk, I've got to meet the people I look up to, my heroes and this stuff, and they're like, I have their phone numbers, I can call them. We text, like, say happy birthday, whatever, like that, like Leslie Brathwaite, I can call him whenever. Young Guru, I was riding around Atlanta with him just a couple months ago. That's Jay-Z's engineer. Like, that's the stuff that I never thought
That's
in my life.
amazing, man. That gives me goosebumps to hear that from you, because I can see you living your dreams. I talk to you all the time. Every time you come in, get your hair cut, we always have new conversations about you expanding and growing and just attracting more to you. And God, man, what a wonderful place to be in your life. Where are you going? Where are you going with this?
So yeah, I guess that's the I guess that'll be the scary part is I'm never satisfied, and I think Pilar will tell you that the most.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool. I'm grateful for all the things that I've accomplished, but like, I'm always gonna want to do more because I have so much. Like, God gave us a life to live to do our maximum, and like, I'm like, man, like I wanna leave a legacy that is undeniable, man. Like, I want to be one of the best, if not the best engineers. I want to be known for the things I did, and I want to be able to give back and educate. Yeah. That's the other thing. So at some point in time, when I guess, as I keep continuing to level up, I want to be able to come back and pour that into people.
Yeah, and once you're able to do that, you're still going to do stuff. You know why? Because this is, when I said I noticed a pattern with you, it started from when you first started rapping. All the way to now, I see the same pattern in you. This is your passion.
Yeah.
It's not so much of I'm an engineer. Like, this is my job. Mm-hmm. Even though you got to put in your work. No, you are an engineer.
Yeah.
Like, this is your lifestyle, which is different than I go to work. When I'm done with work, I come back and I'm doing something different. This is your life. And one of the things that I also see in your journey is that sometimes we don't know what we don't know. We don't know what we don't know. So, and that it's a whole bunch of factors, but I'll throw a couple of factors out there. Your environment, your education, and your ability to be influenced. That's all the things that I'm seeing you dive in. You change your environment. Now you kicking it with the top producers, and they're looking at you like, "What you mean you don't know? Like, this is what we do. You're one of us."
Wavy said this to me not too long ago. I was like, so and so probably don't know me. He's like, and Wavy looked at me and said, "Ben, everybody knows you." And he's like, "Everybody loves you." I was like, "Get out of here, bro."
I bet you that gave you some chills.
It did, man, because I realized, like, I had been in the room. Like, that's when that happened a couple months ago, and that's when I realized I had been in the room. And I don't like to name drop and stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, there's a million people I could name drop and stuff, but I'm not. But, like, when he said that, I started thinking about all these rooms and places and things that have been around. And I think if I say, I want to say something to everyone, is just be genuinely you. Do not try to, like, be something you're not. And I know it sounds cliche, but, like, there's people who will try to put on this, street persona or whatever the case may be, because that's, we lived certain things, but, like, people want to be around genuine people.
Yeah.
Especially in this industry, because,
like, that's the most underrated attribute people have.
Yeah.
When somebody genuine, they attract people.
That's it. And Thailand told me that.
Yeah.
Thailand was like, man, she's like, everybody, don't matter who it is, and she got this from, like, a big gospel singer. I try to ask them what their name is, what they do, and I don't matter if they think I'm bigger or smaller or whatever, like, and that has always led to relationships, because relationships are king, bro. And there's people in the industry I've met, and I thought they were one way. I met them a few times, and I'm like, man, I don't know about them. Like, I don't know if I could be around them.
Yeah.
But there's other people, like, that are huge, like I said, like the gurus in them, and you're like, dude, like, we're clicking.
Yeah.
Like, like, wow, how did this happen?
That's why it's so important to talk to you right now in your journey.
Yeah.
Because you've been doing this on your own outside of working. You've been full throttle in your passion. I like to call it that, not necessarily career, but your passion. you've been full throttle in this without having something else taken away that outside of your family, which don't take away.
Just a
But
dream, bro. I mean,
how long though?
I
2-3 years.
I did take away a lot of things. I will say that because in the end of the day, I took away a lot of time. But
You've been at this the way
Oh.
you're at this. Like when you quit your job, you've been
Oh,
at this
yeah.
for 2-3 years,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's so important to see just in 2 to 3 years. 15 years later, your perspective of what you're going through is going to be so different.
Absolutely.
And I'm starting to know that. This is my 6th year. I'm starting to see my mentality, my mindset about things shift. Only because when I was working a job, I also was around the people that was working a job.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I related to them, and we could all share stories about the 9 to 5, what we go through. And then as I became a business owner, an educator, the people that I attracted became different. Like I talk to business owners now.
Yeah.
I didn't even go out there and seek business owners.
Yeah.
It's just because I am one. People, the business owners recognize that, and then we start having conversations. And our conversations are different.
Right.
They different conversations. Now you got a world of knowledge, and that's what I mean by environment and exposure. You
So
have
true.
a world of knowledge that you never had access to in the environment you was in.
And the best part is, bro, like people want to like. There's no necessarily gatekeeping. It's just get yourself into a position, and when you're in the position to ask the questions.
Yeah.
Like I ask you, how many questions I ask you about business? I don't like nonstop
Enough.
because I'm like
Yeah.
I'm like yo, like I want it because I'm trying to figure things out, right? Or like, and that was a foreign language to me at first, and now I'm slowly starting to fall into it towards it's comfortable, you know. And I can ask you other questions, but like you said, like the environments, people you're around. Like I think that's the big thing. If you're around people, like somebody said this, you're the sum of the 5 people you hang around the most.
100%.
Even if it's just watching, if you watch somebody online every day, that's somebody you hang around, whether you know it or not. If you watch, and if they're not talking about nothing, and not doing anything that's influencing you in a self-help type of way type thing, then they're really just tearing you down, man.
Yeah.
So like that's, I got rid of all that stuff at one point in time. Like every once in a while, dabbling, like I'll look.
Question
but
about
yeah,
what you just said. You got rid of that stuff
all of it.
when, like, because you got 2 phases of life that we just traveled through. You have a phase of life where you're working like everybody else,
Yep.
and a phase of life where you're doing your thing.
I think that was the 2002 shift. And I mean, dude, I hate to say it, man, but there was friends that I don't hang out with as much or at all anymore. There's family I don't be around as much. It's because I wasn't going to sit there and allow myself to drink myself into a nothing or smoke myself into a nothing. And like, then I got around people who are like, hey, like Wavy, we do the 75 hard challenge every year. That's positive, bro. I'm building myself, I'm building my temple up.
And you're doing with
Building
somebody
my
that's
mind.
your mentor,
Exactly.
that you look up to.
Yeah.
That's
and we're,
big.
And we're building together. Like last year I did it, I read 5 books, I lost 50 pounds. You saw,
Yeah.
like, I like that stuff, like that was stuff I needed to be around. And but it all started in 2022. And that was the hardest transition year because I used to go to work, man, with tears in my eyes and stuff because I'd be up till 4 o'clock in the morning working on music, and then I'd be like you said earlier, like I'd have to shut it down to go do something I didn't want to do.
Yeah.
And by the time I got back home, I have a kid to take care of now. And guess what? I'm tired, so I had to take a nap because I didn't work. I didn't been up.
grinding,
I've been up, yeah. But now I got to go back and do the song because I promised X, Y, and Z I was gonna have this done. So like I'm burning the candle so thin, and I'm like either I'm gonna like this candle's gonna go out, and I'm not gonna be no more, or something's gotta change. And by 2023 was like the year where I started going to the Los Angeles and New York and things like that. And then the opening of 2024, I was like, I'm done, no more.
Yeah.
Like I'm moving on. And
I
this is
love
it.
that, man. I love seeing your mind change. I love seeing the understanding. I remember some of the conversations we had when you started off this journey and the conversations we have now to where you're understanding that you're doing, like, I don't think a lot of people know what it means to walk in the path, to walk in your path that God laid out for you. And that's something I see you doing. when you walk in your path, you grow, 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 grow.
Yeah.
You ain't all over here. You don't spend 15 years stuck on the same stuff.
No.
It's like constant aggressive growth when you're walking your path.
Yeah.
The reason behind that is because when you find everybody has gifts. Everybody has gifts.
100%.
When you turn your gift to a passion and you turn your passion into your lifestyle, what that leads to is purpose. You're about to find that.
Man.
You're about to walk into your purpose where, okay, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm walking my path. It's developing you. You're going to find purpose. I know this because it happened to me.
It's like I can't even lie to you, bro. It's already happening.
Yeah.
And I remember us having that conversation. I think two months ago at the barbershop.
Yeah.
Yeah, like God has like a plan. I just told Pilar this the other day too. Like God has a plan for all of us, and I know, like I don't know, man. I have a deep relationship with God. I know God. This is His plan for me.
Yeah.
Is to take music and share it. And it's not a coincidence that I ended up with a CH. Like me and Thailand are brother and sister. One of the best CHH artists in the world. You know what I mean? And we're giving
you saying this term I haven't heard. CH
Christian hip hop.
Oh, Christian. Okay, cool.
But like, I thought I was gonna be doing like trap rap forever.
Yeah.
And then here come Thailand, and all of a sudden I'm transitioning all the way into something else. Mind you, bro, like when we're engineering, people don't probably say this a lot or at all, but we're taking on the reflection of the songs that we're engineering. Because I'm sitting with them songs day in, day out.
And you repeatedly listen to them.
So
like
when
you're not just listening to a song, you're breaking it down bit by bit. So it's ingrained into you. I get that.
So when I started working with Thailand, like, you know, I had like the depressions and stuff like that. So when I was working with Thailand, that was uplifting music.
Yeah.
And it was bringing me up.
That's why you was calling her telling you got me through something.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Like it was so I was like, man, it's no coincidence. And then I was like, yeah, God, this is God's plan for me. Like He wanted me to do music. I pursued it when everybody else around me quit. Like everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone I was in the group with, they stopped at some point in time. Ben didn't stop. Ben was like, I gotta keep going. But yeah, man, that was the hard part though, is to do something and be patient and know that God does have a plan for you.
Yeah.
Because the patience is like the hardest thing, even to this day, because you know where you want to be. You see all these things. You see people living their life, doing whatever, and you just got to know that your time is coming. But you got to stay consistent on that path for that purpose.
You do to get to that purpose, because that purpose, once you find your purpose, you're going to get another shift, and it's going to be a dynamic shift just as much as quitting your job. It's going to be a big shift. I already see somewhere when you can give your gift away.
Yeah.
When you can help people. See, to me, purpose is all about what you've been given that you can give to
You do it every
somebody
day.
else.
Think about
That's
that.
where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Don't interrupt. No, I'm just playing.
Sorry.
That's where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
I'm just a barber. I've been cutting hair since I was 10 years old. I love cutting hair. It's fun. But it's a haircut. But from that, I'm Terril Brown. I'm not just a barber. I'm Terril Brown. So when I cut your hair, you're going to have a conversation with me.
An experience.
The things that I've experienced, the things that I've been through, I have the ability to talk and communicate and share with you. My influence has grown because of my success with barbering, that I can sit down with people like Ben, like a lot of friends, even friends that I look up to. They tell me, Terril, you inspire me. They sit down, we have conversations that uplift each other. You find purpose in that, and then you recognize, dang, I can help people with the opportunity that I have. I can help people. That's when you're going to know your purpose.
I didn't, I think it was like a couple months ago when we were talking and you said you're walking into your purpose. And I remember like later on in that month, like I had realized like I have a lot of people that, and I'm thankful for this, by the way, but I have a lot of people who come to me for their like musical opinions, whether it be like how they drop their album, how they should release, or how they should get their stuff engineered, or what are my advice on it. And I never take that stuff for granted, because I'm like, yo, like, I'm so happy to help in any way I can. I will be the first one to admit my techniques are like not orthodox of like how people do things.
Not
like,
traditional.
Yeah, but that's what makes me a unique engineer, and I have a certain sound, and that's why people come to me. Because the artists that come to me want me to do creative things with their music.
Yeah.
A lot of times people send their music to an engineer, and they just want it to enhance it.
Yeah.
With me, they're like, man, I want you to do your thing. I know what do your thing means. It means
Yeah.
I want it to sound so awesome, enhanced, but I also do the drops, do the stutters, do the things. And if I don't like it, so be it. But I was gonna say that about you, bro. When people come to you, like you're a therapist, you're a financial advisor in some case. Like you're all these different hats, bro. And it's because of all your the experiences that you live. But you give people an experience, and people are like. I watch that every time I leave. I watch the next person come up, and I watch how you interact with them, and I'm like, I'm very observant too. You know what I'm like, yeah, man, like, and you taught me a lot of that stuff coming into this fruition of my life.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Yeah.
Like, that's flowers, man, because I don't think I would have made that jump if I didn't get my hair messed up, cut for my wedding, and they had called Terril for emergency cut. Mind you, he cut my hair like 9 o'clock at night the day before I'm leaving for my wedding. Gave me the best cut I ever had. It was this one, but before this I had crazy hair. And we had the conversation about stepping out, about walking in your faith. And I remember leaving there, I was like, I'm inspired. I feel good about life. I think I can do this. It took me a year and some change to get
But
there.
it's purpose.
But it was
Because
it's
that
what I
conversation never ended.
Yeah, no, it
we
didn't.
have that conversation constantly now. Do me a favor, Ben.
Yeah.
Tell our audience, these people that have dreams, that have these gifts, tell our audience, inspire our audience. Tell them how to quit their job, how to take that leap of faith, how to trust themselves over. If you can give a message to your old self that didn't know that you can take this leap, what would you say?
I would say first, like, the thing that you're passionate about, make sure that like you're walking in it already. You got fear probably, because I had fear. I had fear everywhere. Money. What am I gonna do if X, Y, and Z doesn't work out? Just know this: if you quit your job and you try your passion, and you doesn't work for some reason, right then you can always get another job. But you can't go back and live your passion once you get to be a certain age. So it's okay to take that leap right now. Like, and know that, just have some things in order beforehand. If you're too scared, if it's a money thing, save up some money. If it's a moving situation, and Leslie Brathwaite told me this, he said, act like a kiosk at the mall, right? You're here, and this is crazy because this happened for me, bro, but it took me years to get there. He said, you're here, and the place you want to go is here. Now you got to figure out how to navigate to get there. Mm-hmm. And it might not happen overnight. It might not happen this year. But you need to know that. If you don't have the vision of where you're trying to go,
Can't make a plan without a destination.
So the plan is important. The execution is important once you make the plan. But like, be okay with moving there in steps. If that's it. If you can step out today, step out today. I'm telling you, like, the last thing when I saw that guy today, bro. The only thing I could think was, I'm glad I'm not still at the food bank.
Yeah. Just
like,
I'm glad you're not there, man. You got so much more going on.
And maybe, I don't know if that's necessarily inspiring. It's more so just like a plan, because I think the thing is, we don't know. My biggest thing, PR tell you, she asked me how to do something. I'm like, I don't know. I'm still figuring it out. And that's the thing. You have to figure out the steps that are going to navigate. And that might be saving up money. That might be putting something in a financial thing. That might be getting you a car to do what you're trying. I don't know exactly what everyone's passion is, but you have to. For you, I mean, like, right, you had to get like a building, right?
Yeah.
And you had to get supplies.
I had to do stuff.
There was a bunch of stuff. You had to maybe get a loan or something, but there's just these little steps that go figure out those things, and everything else will start falling in place.
So we'll leave it at that. For our audience, if you aren't happy where you're at, you have gifts, you have passions, lock into those, make a plan, know your destination. Ben, I appreciate you sharing your story with us, man. I love you, man. You
Love you too.
brother from another mother, man.
Sir.
Thank you guys for joining us for another Black Wax session. I'll see you guys next time. Cool.
Sorry, I get to talking, bro. You know how it goes.
You good? We right on time. We right on time, right?